I typically record my lectures once in a while so that I can post them on my own YouTube channel so that other people can benefit. Even if one person sees somewhere, that is beneficial.
You want us to record? You can hold it. You got to stand. Okay.
So, what is tomorrow? What's special about tomorrow? August 26th, what's special? It's called Women's Equality Day. Of course, a lot of spiritual reasons also. So, women were given the right to vote in this country in 1920, August 26th. Right? But equality doesn't mean that artificially we become somebody else. That's also important. Huh? So, what would you like to hear? I know we have only 24 minutes to go.
It's not hard stop. You can go.
Yeah. So, we have heard the Hare Krishna mantra. So, the Hare Krishna mantra has 3 syllables. And when we chant them, something happens. Can anybody relate what happens to us? So, His Holiness Rompa Swami Maharaj once said, it stuns the senses. Have you ever experienced that? We may come from office very tired. Boss was yelling at us, or some code was not working. But when you chant, what happens? First thing is miseries go away. Right? Acharya Rupa Goswami says in his book, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Klesha Agni means there is a fire in the material world. So that fire is relieved the moment we chant the Hare Krishna mantra. I have experienced this, right? And even if an enemy is next to you, they become your friend in chanting. Have you noticed this? Like in the temple Radha Kalachandji, when we go on Sunday and we are dancing, the total rank outsider next to you, you feel that they are your friend. So what's happening? There's something magical happens when you chant the Hare Krishna mantra. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was going through forests of Jharkhand, even animals were jumping up and down. Of course, we cannot do that. At least if we jump, that is sufficient. Right? So, and then there is a tendency of our body moves. Have you noticed that? That we want to be little jumpy, like a spring. So it's nothing that you are doing. You are not doing anything. It is the holy name the mantra is doing to you. So it is said, Golokera Premadana Harinama Sankirtana. So this mantra is not coming from your lips. This mantra is coming from Golok Vrindavan, which is the highest planetary system. So there are many layers of planetary system. Om Bhur Bhuva Swaha, we say that, right? Bhur, Bhuvar, Swarga, then Mahar, Jana, Tapa, and Satyalokas, right? I may have not spoken in the actual sequence, but you go through this hierarchy. Then you cross the Vaitarni river. Then you go to Sadashiv Lok. Then you go to Vaikunth. Then you go to Ayodhya. Ram is higher than Narayana. And Krishna is higher than Ram. Right? What does Vishnu Sahasranam say in the last line? Sri Rama Rama Rameti. Then? Sahasranama Tattulyam Rama Nama Varaname. What does that mean? Sahasranama. So these 1,000 names of Vishnu can be covered by one name of Ram. And one name of Krishna is equal to 3 times the name of Ram. Very, very, simple to understand, right? So when you say Krishna, means you are doing 3,000 names of Lord Vishnu, right? So, and also saying this name itself, the name has very great power. Number of books have been written, 100, 200, 500 page books, just on the powers of the holy name, right? So, when we come into this Sangha of devotees, what we are doing is, we are inviting ourselves into the inner circle of the Lord. This is an inner circle. How many people are there in DFW area? 7.7 million or something like that. I mean, statistics keep changing. How many people are in this room today? Very few. You are in the inner circle, right? You are in the elite circle. Other people don't have entry. Sometimes we call, Prabhuji, please come. No, I have cricket game to go. No, there is some new movie, something or the other will come. They are unable to come. The fact that you have come here, I have to congratulate you, because there is something special. Whatever little sukruti you have done in this life or last life, you have been invited into this inner circle. Like in New York City, there is a company called Goldman Sachs. Right? Out of 1,000 applications, 1 or 2 people get selected. That is the cream de la cream, right? Of starting salary is $500,000 a year. But not everybody can get in. You have to be something very special. Same way, the fact that you are coming into the Sangha of devotees is not simple, not trivial. There is something very, very special about this. And you will realize this after 20 years. It took me 20 years to understand this. I started coming in 2003. We bought a home behind the Hare Krishna temple in Seattle, Samlamish actually, which is outskirts. And I didn't want to go into the temple. My daughter dragged me in. She held my hand and she took in, let's go inside, right? Somebody has to drag you in. Somebody has dragged you also in, right? Like in your case, Raseshwar dragged you in. Dragged you in, not literally, but subtly, very subtle. So I went to this place. My daughter also took me to, my daughter is there, right there, Lakshmi Priya Devi Dasi, to Bhakti Center in New York City. In Bhakti Center, there's a room which is about 3 times the size of this room. There were 170 people on a Thursday night. Only 10 were Indians. What does that tell you? This is not a movement for Indians. You are in Indian body in this lifetime. Next lifetime you could be in Chinese body, Ping Pong Ching, or Armenian body, or South African body, like that, right? So the body is just a gift for a specific period of time, 80 years max, right? Used to be 100 years, but because we drink water from refrigerator, genetically modified food, so you can't live beyond 80, right? My grandfather lived 82, my father-in-law passed away at 62, my father passed away at 72. So our window is very, very small. You have to be very careful, right? By the time you study, get a job, 25 years, right? And then after 50, backache, this ache, that ache. So window kitna hai? Anybody doesn't know Hindi here? Okay. तो हमारे पास समय बहुत कम है. वह नामानंद देखो वहाँ पे पीछे बैठा है, Professor Namanand. So he was born into a devotee family. His father gave a seminar on Grihastha life in Seattle. His father has been a devotee for any number of years, and he's also in the administrative circles, treasurer, this, that, auditor. He audits various temples and all that. So there are people who are born into that. Then there are people like me. I had no interest when I was in college, no interest whatsoever. Only after I came to Seattle, for the first time I said, let's do it. चलो कुछ करते हैं अपने जिंदगी के साथ, हाँ? Otherwise, shloka says that Abrahma bhuvana loka punavartana arjuna mamupeti tu kaunteya punarjanmana vidyate. So Abrahma bhuvana loka. So there is Brahmalok, Satyalok, and then there is Patal Lok. Below the earth there is Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Talatala, Rasatala, Mahatala, and Patala. And then above is like the Burbua and all that, right? So there are 14 planetary systems. We are stuck in the middle. Middle means Pyar ka vada 50-50, right? Kabhi kushi, kabhi gham. So here you have happiness and distress. In the lower planetary systems, more distress. In higher planetary systems, more enjoyment. So if there is more enjoyment, can you do the devotional life? Can you? Difficult. And if there's too much pain, always somebody is beating you, can you do it? Difficult. So we are very fortunate. We are in the middle planetary system, where there is a little bit of happiness and a little bit of sorrow. And the sorrow is a reminder. Anytime you have a misery, it is a reminder for you. What is that reminder? Bolo?
There is somebody much powerful than us.
Huh?
There's somebody much powerful than us.
That comes later, but there is something even before that.
The good days are ahead.
Huh?
After sorrow, happiness will come.
That is also correct. Like Bhagavan Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, right? Shita, Ushna, Sukha, Dukkha. So after Shita, coldness, there is Ushna, heat. Sukha, Dukkha. But there is something more fundamental I am looking for.
It's time to get out.
But even more fundamental than that. Time to get out, yes, but Even more fundamental, what is it?
Why me?
Even before that. Even before that. It is a reminder that we don't. Excellent. Who said that? You said that? Talia. No, he said that. Anyway. So it's a reminder that we don't belong here. Right? Suppose you go to Disney World. You like it. All the rides, right? So much fun. But after the third day, what do you feel? Home. Why can't you stay there forever? अरे यार डिज्नी वर्ल्ड अच्छा है, एक टेंट बना लेते हैं यहीं पे और सो जाते हैं यहीं पे. Why don't you do that? Huh? Why? You don't belong there. Simple, right? So, His Holiness Navyananda Swami Maharaj was saying, don't build a permanent house in a temporary place. Right? Assuming Disney World will allow you to put a tent, is it very pleasurable to stay in the place? No, right? You have a nice 4-bedroom home in Plano, Texas. Why do you want to put a tent there in Disney World and sleep there? Just for doing what? Buying some popcorn and going on the rides. Wee, 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 like that, no? Is it fun? No. So, one of the most fundamental things we have to understand is we don't belong here. Then the question comes, all of your points, right? You have to get out. But first of all, get out to where? You know, if you are on a highway without exits, what will you do? You should know where you want to go. For that, a manual has been given by Bhagwan. And what is that manual called? You don't answer, let others answer. Okay? You have done Discover Yourself 20 years ago. It's okay, you can answer too. So, just like when you buy a TV, there is a manual, right? There is a manual for this TV. Put the plug, settings, connect to Google, blah, blah, blah. In the same way, to survive, to thrive in this material world, there is a manual called Bhagavad Gita. So, Krishna says, in the beginning of time, I sent forth generations of men and demigods. Right? It is there in the Bhagavad Gita. Anybody remember? The shloka? Yeah, in the beginning of time, I sent forth, Krishna says. So he sent us here to perform sacrifice. He didn't send us here to go to Macy's and buy some clothes, to go to Disney World, or to play cards, or drink alcohol. Nowadays I see a lot of alcohol stores everywhere. Previously they used to be sold as a part of a store. Now there is Liquor Central, Liquor King. Means the civilization is in the end times right now, because more and more people will get drunk and kill themselves, and civilization is on its decline right now, right? Civilization means you have to be civil, and all these things make you non-civil, right? That's why Srila Prabhupada says no meat eating, no gambling, no intoxication, and no illicit activities outside of marriage. If you do these if you avoid these 4 things, 50% of the job is done. Another 20% is chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra. Another 10% is reading Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam. Another 10% is taking shelter of a guru. And then the final 10%, if my math is correct, is Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mahamekam Sharanam Vraja. Means give up all these activities. You cannot give up right now because you have chote bacche, right? So you have to take care of them. But eventually you can give it up, right? After you are 55, 60, no more. Let them deal with their family life, and let us do what's known as Vanaprasth. One में जाने के program बनाओ. Not now. Don't be worried. अरे कल मुझे वन जाना है. यहाँ पे वन कहाँ पर है? ह्यूस्टन चलो. नहीं, ह्यूस्टन बहुत गर्म है. कहाँ पे जाएंगे? आजकल तो वन ही नहीं है. So for us, one means taking shelter of the local ISKCON temple. Alright? So you spend more time there cooking, cleaning, chanting. There are 2 things His Holiness Vaisheshwar Maharaj was saying. You chant, you teach others to chant. That's it. Do only 2 things, right? So these people are all chanting and they are calling you to chant, right? That's it. We are in the inner circle of chant and be happy. So there's a tiny book we distribute on the streets. Chant and be happy. People say, what is your religion? Oh, there's nothing. You just chant Hare Krishna. Oh, what is it? Hare Krishna. Krishna. Slowly but surely you can teach them. And I take a lot of small videos of people that I meet on streets, and then I post onto my channel. Almost everybody can chant. Right? Just like I was saying, in Bhakti Center, New York, 170 people, only 10 were Indians. So the soul is not Indian, American, whatever, right? Soul is Atma. Atma means something that is there central to you. The body is just a covering. So to understand this, that is called self-realization. People say, God, हाँ, मुझे सब कुछ मालूम है, Bhagavad Gita है हमारे घर पे. Right? Whenever I try to give Bhagavad Gita on the streets, सब है हमारे पास. Right? Then what are you doing about it, right? You have to do something about it, no? So if you don't do it, what's the use? You have it, and that is called kripana, miser. Definition of miser is he has $100, he only wants to spend $1. On the other hand, brahmana means somebody who is broad-minded. Very basic definition, right? So we should not be miserly. Miserly means you have it but you want to hoard it. So we have time, but we are using it for watching television, doing other activities. Actually, real good devotees will not have any of this. We are somewhere in the middle. That's why we are trying to balance these two things, right? Little bit of this, little bit of this. But at some point, these two boats will diverge. Then you have to make a choice. Do I want to be on Krishna's side, or do I want to be on anti-Krishna side? Anti-Krishna is what? Maya, right? So Krishna says that if you take shelter of me, then Maya will become a small factor to be considered. Otherwise, Maya will basically ऐसे जकड़ के रखेगी ना, बाहर नहीं निकल पाओगे. It is like that. So, by taking shelter of just one person, right? He said, yeah, we have to get out. And somebody said, take shelter of the Lord. By just taking shelter of one super powerful person, we are able to overcome a lot of this nonsense. We have so many problems, right? We have problems of our mind and body. We have problems of other bodies and other minds. Like you are doing your work, boss says, sorry, budget cut, kal lay off tomorrow. So you didn't do anything, but what happened? It is called Adi Bhautika Klesh. Other people causing you trouble. And you bought Microsoft stock at 350 and it crashes to 170. What happens? Your mind will trouble you. Yes? No? Right? You're all in tech field, so you can relate to this. So that is called Adi Yatmika Klesha. Klesha means problem. The third kind of Klesha is Adi Dhaivika Klesha. Right? Right now we are seeing 104, 105, 106 degrees. I cannot even get out of my house before 7 p.m. in the evening, and even then it is about 100. So we are all under house arrest right now by Surya Dev. So Krishna says that you are always at the mercy of the Devatas about these different kleshas, except if you take shelter of me. Right? So shelter, sharanam, prapadyate. Prapannam, Sri Vaishnavas call it prapannam. It's the same concept, different words. So if we take shelter, then we get liberation. It's like he has the keys to the kingdom. Christians use this term a lot, keys to the kingdom. So they say Jesus has the keys to kingdom, and we say Prabhupada has keys to kingdom. And Prabhupada has more information. He has given us a lot more information. How much more information that Westerners appreciate this better than people of Indian origin? Why? Huh? Familiarity. Yeah. What is that saying? Excellent, excellent. Yeah. You're on a roll today. So, when you have something, right, you don't appreciate it that much. When you have something very close, you don't appreciate it that much. So, the people, like there was one, in Krishna Life in Atlanta, where I have traveled many times and I keep going there, there is a brahmachari ashram. There are about 24 brahmacharis. They distribute books in Georgia State University. There was this African-American lady who got a book from one of the brahmacharis or brahmacharinis. Brahmacharni means the ladies who are celibate. And men who are celibate are called brahmacharis. So she got a book, she read it. Within 6 months she came and said, okay, this is it, I'm done. But typically with people of Indian background, you give them Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, you call them to class after class, 16 Janmashtamis later. Arey, this is in my culture and I've missed it. Right? In Janmashtami in Seattle, 10,000 people come on Janmashtami day. And I'm very happy. Arey, bahut log aaye. And I'll see them again, you know when? Next Janmashtami. So, if you are the boss, hypothetically, and you have 10 people in your office, one person comes at 9 a.m., one person comes at 4 p.m. to office, 6 बजे ऑफिस बंद होने वाली है और 4 बजे आ रहा है. One person shows up once a year. So, what do you say? I mean, you have to report to your boss, right? What do you deal? I mean, that's Krishna's situation actually. Looking at his living entities, we are all his children, right? Right? There's so many songs around that topic. He must be like totally shocked at our behavior. Some people come once, like just like if you go to office, in the olden days we used to have punch card system. You remember punch card? I used to work in Tata Engineering, Jamshedpur. So people used to go 6:59 punch. अरे आज का सैलरी मिल गया अभी. काम करना नहीं है, केवल पंच मारना है बस. That's it. You get your salary for the day. So if you have that attitude, how will the boss be pleased? And if you have that attitude in spiritual life, how will Krishna be pleased? Right? We are all his children. Doesn't mean that we can do whatever that comes to our mind. Manmani mein koi jagah hai nahi. So this is the key concept, right? There is so much more to be covered, but I wanted to stay at this level because Srila Prabhupada covered this concept of you are not the body, you are the soul for the longest period. Then came advanced philosophy. Because if you don't understand who you are, self-realization, how can you do God realization, right? A lot of people, I go to Swadeshi market every Saturday, distribute books in front of that. People act like they know everything. Sab malum hai humko. Every day I meditate. What do you meditate on? Oh, किसी पे करना पड़ता है क्या? So they don't even know what they have to meditate on. Huh? And yeah. हम बच्चों को भगवद गीता श्लोक भी सिखाते हैं. अच्छा बच्चे बोलो, वो बोलेगा देहिनोस्मिन् यथा देहे. मीनिंग क्या है मालूम नहीं. So they all become parrots. So in devotional life, being a tape recorder is not sufficient. What does tape recorder do? Press the button. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram. So the electricity is going, and parrot also does the same thing, right? So we have to come to the firm conclusion that there is something higher than me. Prabhuji, आप थोड़ा इधर हटेंगे? Mataji has to bend her head because later pain आएगा night में. So we have to come to the firm conclusion that we are not this body. Right? We think we are this body, right? How much money we spend for this body? Soap, cream, hair removal. So much money we spend. Just look at your credit card bill. But we are not this body. Like one scientist in 1920s did an analysis and he said, all the chemicals in this body are only worth $20. And our soap and oil and cream charge is more than that. Right? Because we think we are this body. We have to remind every day. Like one of the acharyas in our line, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, who is Prabhupada's guru, he said every morning you should wake up and beat your mind with chappal or broomstick. Because our mind has this tendency, right? Kutte ki dum ki tarah. Sometimes you straighten it, it goes back. Have you seen that? You don't see such dogs here, but in India you can see. So, our mind is like that. Arjuna asks in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna, I can control the wind, but I am unable to control my mind. So the whole of Bhagavad Gita is nothing but mind control. Mind control, believe it or not. Whole of Bhagavad Gita is mind control. Because when Krishna says, Sarva Dharman Parityaja, give up everything and surrender to me, first of all, what is everything? What does giving up mean? Right? For that, you have to slow down the mind. Right? So, Arjun had this astra called Vayuvi Astra. If he runs that, right? If he releases that, air will stop. Air will stop. He says, I can control the wind, but I cannot control my mind. Then Krishna goes on this elongated discourse. Okay? So, are we done with time?
Please continue. Yeah, a few more minutes.
Today's Friday night, so I can keep on going, but people have to go to home and sleep. Okay. So,
I don't put in a blocker.
Yeah. So let's do some Q&A. Q&A में मजा ज़्यादा है. बोलिए प्रभु.
So we have a lot of people who recently got introduced.
Uh-huh.
So if anyone want to open up a discussion topic, please feel free.
Yeah, no topic is off limits.
I have a question, on what you just said.
Uh-huh.
You said we spend a lot of money on our body, but there is another philosophy which says, even though you are saying we are not this body, but unless we maintain this body, we cannot even sit over here with you, right?
That is true. Have you seen the yogis? What do? They train their body with various asanas, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because when they sit for a year like this, they should not become a skeleton. They should not become stiff. So, all that is there. Now you are going into the details. I was talking about the principle. The details, every day, do 10 minutes of yoga to make your body strong enough for meditation. Lot of people go to the gym, LA Fitness, to work out, to do what? To show off their body. They don't have any higher motive. But yoga, the Ashtanga yoga's purpose is to make the body strong enough so that we can sit like this. Try sitting like this for 8 hours, then you tell me. So you have to practice yoga. So when you do that, yoga, Bhujangasana, it stiffens this Mooladhara chakra, and then you can do it. Right? So that's why in ISKCON Seattle, we first start with physical yoga. In Bhakti Center, New York, they start with physical yoga. Because all these people, they have been traveling in subways back and forth and eating McDonald's. What kind of structure is their body? There's hardly anything. The body's become useless. Right? So very good question, but there's an answer for every question in the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. Right? All the acharyas. I've been in this movement for about 20 years, and I've heard at least 10, 15 Srila Prabhupada disciples speak. So all that knowledge is there. It will come out when the question comes. Yeah. Anything else, sir?
Somebody raised the hand there. Sumanta? No, Ritesh, somebody?
Yeah. We spend a lot of time, right? How much time does it take to be a computer science engineer to work at Google or Microsoft or any of these companies?
4 to 6 years.
12 plus 4 plus 2. 18 years, right? It used to be bachelor's, but now everybody expects some kind of master's like in ML or AI or something of that sort, right? RPA, robotic process automation or something. So, if you have devoted 18 years to get a salary of 150K, I don't know what the salaries are here nowadays, but approximately, how much time should you devote for your devotional life? To learn, not even do devotion, huh? You have to devote a few time, right? You cannot, so people come and say, okay, tell me everything and I'll just do it. Is it possible? If I give you Lagrange equation, fourth order differential equation, will you understand on day one? You have to go through basic algebra, linear algebra, first order differential equation, second order differential equation. Then you come to fourth order differential equation. Then you can understand what black holes are and quarks and this and that. Right? So, most important thing is devote the time to understand this concept. That's why we have Bhagavad Gitas. And there are teachers like Rasa Shekhar. Right? So, first devote the time. Then comes everything else. And sometimes people go in a challenging mood. Like, one of my relatives was challenging. That is your point of view, but I have a different point of view. I said, where did you get this point of view? Oh, I read this book, this American author, some author. Okay, so you read one book. How many books are there in the world? So you read one book and you made your point of view. Right? We have to be open-minded to take in other viewpoints. I've read the Bible, I've read the Quran, I've been to Golden Temple Amritsar, I've been to the Himalayas, I've been to the Vatican City. Even just before coming to the class, I was listening to Christian radio on my way here. And one of the priests was saying, tolerance, patience. That sounded like 13th chapter of Bhagavad Gita to me. Tichesva Karnika, you know that? All those verses? Amanitvam Adambitvam. So His Holiness Navayogananda Swami Maharaj came to Seattle between 2003 and 2005. And he spoke on that verse for 2 years. 2 years. Every time he comes, he will speak on the same verse to drill home the point. क्योंकि हमारा ये दिमाग है ना, ये इसमें बहुत कीचड़ भरा हुआ है. So they say brain washing, right? We have to wash our brains because we have watched too much of TV, too much of material education. That बहुत कीचड़ है इसमें. इसको साफ करना है अभी. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, चेतो दर्पण मार्जनम महाभव धावाग्नि निर्वापनम. ये जो हमारा मन है ना, एक दर्पण की तरह है. लोग मन यहाँ बताते हैं, यहाँ नहीं है मन यहाँ पर है. मन का स्थान ये है. So cheto darpan marjanam means you have to clean the mirror of your heart. Why? Because for millions of lifetimes there is dust on this mirror. If there is a mirror in your bathroom and this full of dust, can you see your face? So what do? Kleenex, napkin. Now I can see myself. Right? So the cleaning process for the soul is the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra. Right? If you don't agree with the philosophy, that's okay. But just chant the mantra. Chanting will clean the dust on your soul. Right? Actually, you are the soul. Your body is this body, right? So you are actually the soul. So sometimes people find these concepts very difficult. So any questions around this concept? Because this is very important. In future, Rashekhar will teach you more advanced concepts. But unless this sits in your consciousness, you will find it difficult. Yes, sir.
So we have gross body, then subtle body, and soul. So when we do chanting, like does it, like we have memories from so many other janmas which we don't remember, but it is there in our subconscious. So does chanting remove those memories or whatever is in our
it's a very, very advanced topic. Initially, it basically subdues the memories. To fully remove those vasanas will take a long time. It may not happen in one lifetime. But Srila Prabhupada said, if you follow this process, Mangalarti in the morning, Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, and chanting and doing seva in the temple, you can go back to Godhead in one lifetime. But for people like me, it will take a few lifetimes. We have to, be very serious. And we have challenges, right? We have H1B. If you don't work, you'll have to be kicked out of the country. Then you have mortgage. If once I missed mortgage payment 1 month and I was under great stress. Because you'll be kicked out, right? So we have other constraints. So we have to kind of tailor this according to our constraints, but remember the fundamental principles. The principles are important, right? Once in a while in practice you may waver a little bit. But if the principle is there, then you will never forget it throughout your entire life. The principle is, I'm not the body, I'm the soul. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I have to take shelter of a guru to approach Krishna. I have to chant a minimum number of rounds and follow these principles, like no meat eating, no gambling, no illicit activities outside of marriage, and no intoxication, right? Follow the principles. Already 95% of the work has been done by Prabhupada already. He has given us the complete program. Remaining 5% is our job. I can take you to the examination hall, give you the pen, give you the question paper, switch on the AC, but you have to write the test, right? You have to write the test. You cannot say, see, sometimes people say, if God is all powerful, then he should only do, no? Right? Oh, you are from IIT, you are very smart, Google gives you a job. You still have to work. Just because you are intelligent doesn't mean you just go there and chill. You still have to work. So, when Mother Yashoda was trying to tie up Krishna, Damodar Leela, Kartik Mas, it's coming up, it always felt 2 fingers short. So Acharyas describe one finger is mercy, second finger is endeavor, effort. Mercy without effort won't work, effort without mercy won't work. But luckily for us, mercy is already there. Right? Mercy is already there. Yeah. Okay, one final question. I know it's getting late. Yes, sir.
I think you talked about Islam or you talked about other religions as well.
Uh-huh.
So when I was reading or watching, especially the Muslim friends, they follow on a particular times of the day. They have their remembering the God.
Correct, correct.
So I find it to be really interesting. Like, do we as well have?
Oh yeah, we have more.
Exactly.
Be ready for the answer. You'll faint. Srila Prabhupada's disciples went and asked, Prabhupada, you're just asking us to chant. Is there anything more? And Prabhupada said, if I give you the complete description, you'll faint. Okay, so we do 7 times. Like if you go to Srinath Ji in Rajasthan. So there is 4:30, there is 6 o'clock, there is 8 o'clock, there is noon, there is 3:30, there is 6 o'clock, there is 8 o'clock. That many times you have to feed Lord by giving him bhoga, which becomes prasadam, and you have to do arti for the Lord. So in the Vedic system, we have more than Islam. Islam is basically a diluted version of the Vedic tradition, right? And somebody said, yeah, we fast for the entire month of Ramadan. Okay. But we have, if you count, we fast twice a month, Ekadasis. So how many times is that? 24. We fast on Janmashtami till midnight, Ram Navami, Radhastami, birthday of Prabhupada, birthday of his Guru, Jagannath Das Babaji Thakur's birthday, so on and so forth. So half the time in a year we are actually fasting. So we have a lot more, but that's all advanced stuff, right? First, let's start with the basics and then we'll get there eventually. So Islam is impressive. I'm actually going to write a LinkedIn article on that one, fasting days of Islam versus Vedic tradition. My name is Radhika Gopinath Das. You can send me a LinkedIn invite and every week I release 2 papers on these topics. Radhika Gopinath Das. So Islam is good, even better than modern Hinduism in that sense, because modern Hinduism, they don't follow anything. They go to the temple, put 10 rupees in the hundi, ring the bell and say, I'm done. It's like going to the punch booth in the office, not even punch card. You've not even inserted the card yet. You just drive by and say, and go away. So drive-by devotion won't work. Devotion has to be regimented, right? Like, why do they train a military officer for 10 years before they send him to Iraq or Afghanistan? Why can't they take that young boy and just send him to Iraq for fighting? Why?
Because it needs to be trained, and like if you just send, so it has to be regular and
Yeah.
be able to.
Yeah, regularity and ability, right? If you are trained for 10 years, when you go and fight, you will last for at least 1 week or 10 days on the battlefield. Otherwise, the first bullet, you are finished. Right? So, training is required. Training is required. Like in Israel, every citizen has to do mandatory training. I even suggested it in one of my articles that every Indian should be trained for 1 year in military. The country will be very different. Yeah? Lack of discipline, right? It's all coming from that lack of training. What is Israel? It's like size of Hyderabad, right? and it's doing miracles. AI research, cryptocurrencies, cryptography, agriculture, yeah, amazing agriculture.
In the deserted place.
Deserted place, all the drip irrigation, right? So that training is required. Just like I said, right? You spent 18 years to come to a point of earning 100, 150,000 in a high-tech company. So you have to put in the time. There are no shortcuts in life, right? Even after so much education, we struggle at work, right? It's not slam dunk. You still have to put in a lot of effort, isn't it? So we need to be trained. So your teacher is here to train you. Just come to him regularly. I mean, he has his own teacher and his teacher has his own teacher. We come in a parampara, right? So we are just like, you won't get a gynecology degree just like that. You have to go through 4 years of bachelor's, 4 years of MD, 2 years of gynecology training, 2 years of residency. Then you will be allowed to perform a surgery. Yeah? So it takes time. Okay, thank you very much. If I had said something that offended you, please take it in context. Context is important, right? I cannot talk like this in the open public. This is a very super specialized area where we are talking about a very specialized topic. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.